Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, this is a channel where I look at Pokemon cards and primarily talk about the artwork. Today's video is one I've been trying to get together for a little while. Finally, I've got the final card. So today's video is a look at the work of an artist. So it's an artist spotlight on an artist called Megumi Higuchi. And I'm going to be showing you 25 cards that she did during the period from November of 2019 through till April of 2023, which was the last card that we had from her, unfortunately, because I think it's a real shame that she's not doing illustrations anymore. So let's just have a little look at the cards first, and then I'll talk about my general thoughts about her art style, etc. The first card, I'm just showing you the Japanese cards primarily here. If there is an English exclusive, and there are 3, I will be showing you English cards, but I'm only going to be showing you the Japanese prints because that's really all I'm particularly interested in. But we'll be covering all the artworks that she did for the TCG in English and Japanese. So the first card is this Ninetales, and this came out in Japan in the V-Starter Fire deck at the beginning of Sword and Shield in November of 2019. Now, the V-Starter decks are sometimes mirror foils. A small number of them were mirror foils. So this is the rarer version, the mirror foil. There is a non-mirror foil version of this card, which I have ordered through my friend Braish Gaming. But I haven't got it at the moment, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you this one for now. And this was the first card that she did, and it's a very beautiful card. Beautiful impressionistic background of dawn or dusk with Ninetales. Very loose flowing style. Really very beautiful card. So that is the first one. Now the second card that came out was in May of the next year, so 6 months later, and is an English exclusive. I don't have the staff. The staff version of this is quite hard to get, I think, because it was during COVID, and therefore they were one of those ones that were released after COVID to stores. I don't really know the story behind it. I don't have the staff. Anyway, so there is no Japanese print of this card, and this is the Luxray, which was a pre-release promo for Rebel Clash. There's the promo number. Again, very dark. You'll see a lot of this almost chiaroscuro, light and dark shading throughout her work. And I find her work incredibly reminiscent of a number of other artists. Primarily, Sotaro very strongly reminds me, similar style. Very, very simple-ish impressionistic backgrounds and very great dynamism in the action and flow of the actual character. But you've also got artists like Gosan, Anasaki Dynamic, even Hungry Clicker has a sort of similar style. They're very beautiful, and there's a little bit of Ryoto Murayama's shadowing going on as well similarly. So those are both very beautiful cards. The next card that came out was the Pansear, which came out in Infinity Zone of June 2020. And it's not a very popular Pokemon, Pansear, but I think this is just a beautiful illustration. Very fond of this card. One of the cards actually that really impressed me about her artwork and made me want to collect it. So, I'm not a huge fan of Pansear either, or any of the monkeys, but I think it's a very beautifully illustrated card. Again, a lot of dark impressionistic backgrounds. The fourth card is the Duot from Amazing Vault Tackle of September 2020. And it's a little bit more like, there's a Gemi card, I think, of Duot, a recent one that's similar-ish sort of style. I love Duot. I don't like Oshawott at all. I don't like Samurott at all, but I think Duot is really, really cool. Yeah, there's a little bit of detail in the background there. Very vague, but a bit of coral. Nice underwater scene. Pretty. The next card is another of the exclusive English cards, and this was the Lapras that came out in October of 2020 as a Sword and Shield promo. Now, there is no Japanese print of this, and I think this is probably the weakest card I'm going to be showing you. I think the lines of Lapras are a bit too sketchy. It's a bit squonky in the face. I don't like the slight Dutch tilt you've got, so that the horizon isn't actually flat to the card. It doesn't work in this instance. It doesn't actually add anything to the drama, which is what the whole point of that usually is. The background's quite nicely done. I think there is another version of this card, perhaps, that has a shattered ice finish. I haven't looked into it, but there is no Japanese print, so it's not so interesting to me for my collection, but and also because I don't particularly like the artwork. It's not bad, but it's probably the weakest card. Yeah. So that's the Lapras. The next card is the Luxio, which came out in Rapid Strike Master of January 21. Very similar, of course, to what it's going to evolve into. They work together as a nice pair. It's just a pity there isn't a Shinx that was ever printed that makes up the trio. Really nice dynamic action in this card with the claws raking through the air, leaving behind this sort of power lines. Yeah, very dramatic little card. Nice. Now I think this is the card that appealed to me more than anything that really made me like her artwork. I think it's a lovely Electivire. It's a little bit similar to a couple of the other Electivires in my little mini Electivire collection I've got. So there's a Kawaii that's sort of got a similar passionate energy to the illustration. But it's a very loose style and dynamic. Very little in the way of background that really, it's just darkness with a sort of hint of something light going on there, maybe a broken wall or something. But a real menacing look in Electivire's eyes. This is a single strike master card from January 21. Single strike. Very, very good dynamic card. The Scolipede is the next one from Peerless Fighters of March 2021. Again, very dark, very Murayama, this one. Yeah. Interesting angle from up above. So you've got the foreshortening. A sort of suggestion of a swampiness going on there, but it's done with such little detail. It leaves it to your imagination to fill in what the environment is. But very, very successful little card. I don't know what attack it's doing that's causing this energy ring off its horns, but yeah, very successful card. Like that a lot. The next card was in Silver Lance of April 21 and is the Banette. And high drama here. Not a Pokemon that's aesthetically appealing to my eyes, Banette, with its zippy mouth. And yeah, it's a creepy thing. But this is a very good piece of artwork. Taking what I would say is a difficult Pokemon to make look menacing or interesting, and they've really turned it out here. Beautiful. Again, just the vaguest hints of what the background is, with a sort of doorway or archway or something going on here with a bit of blue light in the distance, but mainly in a dark room, and just these crackles of almost electric red energy as Banette leaps out of the darkness. Very, very good illustration. Yeah, very Sataro. Very Sataro. This one is the Skarmory from Skyscraping Perfection of July 2021. Again, Skarmory's a little bit awkward to illustrate. It's very static. It's very stiff. But this is very dynamic. It's reminding me a little bit of some of Rita's work from that period where he was doing that Urshifu or even his more recent Great Tusk or whatever, with this sort of racing through a flat landscape and the blurring effect that does. Yeah, very, very good card. There are a few very good Skarmory cards. I mean, Koiki Saito's Skarmory from years and years ago is a very good. But this is a nice Skarmory card. And Skarmory is a Pokemon that's sort of a little bit overlooked now because they've done Metal Bird since. But it's always got a place in our hearts because it's Gen 2, and Gen 2 is best gen. So, very nice. We'll put that there. The next card is the Gorgeist from Skyscraping Perfection of July 21, although it came out at the same time as the one that I'll show you in a moment. Again, really, really good card, very dark, very chiaroscuro, with this almost spattering of neon light across the card. Real menace in the card, great angle work. That, again, very impressionistic background that gives you a sort of sense of the environment, but not really any great detail of the environment, but has real atmosphere. Beautifully done card. A pretty silly Pokemon, but that's a very good card. I love it. So that's the Gorgeist from Skyscraping Perfection in July of 2021. But there was also, at the same time, because it was a double set, there was Blue Sky Stream, and we have this amazing little Plusle card. I collect Plusle and Minun. But sadly, there isn't a Minun card to pair it, because quite often when there's a Plusle card and a Minun card, they'll have the same artist do the two, and it'll be drawn from the perspective of each of them back and forth. But there isn't, as far as we ever saw, a Minun card that went with this. But they're having a sort of battle across a lake with a waterfall. There's a lot of crackle. Beautifully illustrated. And just the simplest of backgrounds to give real location and lighting. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful illustration. We're going to see it again in a little while, because a lot of the cards that are coming up soon are going to be reprints of these, because there aren't so many more new original artworks. But we'll keep going. The next card was in December of 21, which was a art rare of Dusknoir. It was a trainer gallery with Morty's Dusknoir. Yeah. I mean, there's touches of Moriyama here, but also Uiraby or a number of other artists that do this. And it's also got that sort of Sugimori blush in the coloration. Such a strange Pokemon. But this is a very good card. Very, very nice card. Yeah. Also in VMAX Climax, we had some reprints. So we had the Banette coming back again with a different number on the card. Actually, that was the only other one in VMAX Climax. It's other sets that we have repeats. But we then had the Skarmory was reprinted in the Start Deck 100 of December of 21. There wasn't a mirror foil of this one. Whereas it's the other way around with this one. The Start Deck had the Scolipede, but there's only mirror foil as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's a non-mirror foil, although, you know, the dark mirror foils are always a little bit hard to see, but it is a mirror foil. So that was in Start Deck 100 as well. The Plusle was in the Start Deck 100. Yeah, just the... Sorry, just tap that. Focus, please. Yeah, S1. So, yeah, they're all out of 414. But this one had both. It had a mirror foil as well. So, and these mirror foils are just so beautiful. I love the texture of them as well as the shine. They really, the Japanese just get that right really well. Then we had another new artwork, which was the Kling Klang from Starbirth in January of 22. Very dark and dynamic. I mean, she's been given a lot of these characters she's given to commission are not interesting characters. Kling Klang's very hard. The whole line is very hard to do anything interesting with because, again, they're so static. There's no movement in them except for the cogs going around. But that's a dramatic card in a dark, with a sort of cityscape on the edge of a lake, maybe in the background. but just the smallest of details to really create a very dynamic background. And you've got this sort of amber light that goes up into the darkness and this crackle of power and electricity coming off of Kling Klang. Brilliant, brilliant card. And here we've got a Dutch tilt that really works. That's when it works, when you have that much of an angle, and it just creates the dynamism to the action of the card. Really beautiful, beautiful card. The next card was actually the last of the English exclusives, and it's a Galarian Obstagoon, or well, Obstagoon, because there isn't any other Obstagoons. And it was a promo in the Battle Academy of 22. Which I didn't get. It's one of the Battle Academies I didn't bother buying. And I think there's another version of this that doesn't have the Eevee stamp. But it's a non-holo. Not sure I like the artwork. It's a little bit confused. It's sort of, I think this is its knee and its foot. So I don't know what that claw is. And then you've got the, yeah, it's all a bit strange. There's a window open and a storm going on, or a blizzard maybe, and its tongue's out. It's okay. It's a little bit closer to the Lapras in my appreciation of it than the other cards. And I mean, the yellow borders kill cards for me. The Rapidash from Paradigm Trigger was next, which is from October 22. Absolutely stunning card. Rapidash, surprisingly, is one of the hardest Pokemon to illustrate well, because horses are very, very difficult, and you have to get the physiognomy of a horse right, or it looks awful. And you also have to make it look fantasy and exotic and interesting, rather than just being a horse with a horn on its head. But this is a great, great piece of artwork. Really well chosen angle, and the way you've got this blurring. There's no lines on the outline of Rapidash on the far side. You've just got the lines on these edges that are nearer to us to create extra dynamism and depth of field with these sparkles. Works really well as a holo foil. Again, just an impressionistic suggestion of what the environment is. Great card, great card. Excellent artwork. I give that a 10 out of 10. And then we have a reprint of the Gorgeist that came out in V-Star Universe, which also had a reverse sparkle foil effect one. We'll have a little look at that. So this is from December of 22. And yeah, it's a pretty random pattern. I like these different ones. I didn't like that bricky one they did, but I do like some of these choices of different foiling that they do for the special holiday sets in Japan. But nothing's going to beat the classic mirror foils of Japanese mirror foils, because they are premier versions of cards. So there you go. That's that Gorgeist. As I said before, it's a lovely piece of artwork. And then we have the last two cards that she did. We had the Mischievous from Triplet Beat of March of 23. Again, a Pokemon I think is, personally, I know there's some people who really like this Pokemon. I think it's pretty ghastly, even though it's Gen 2. So you've got a staircase going up to an entranceway or something up here, and some suggestion of trees at night, uplit perhaps, yeah. Or I don't know actually. No, I suppose downlit, because you've got the shadow underneath, and yeah, it's quite a dramatic little card of a Pokemon I really struggle to like. Yeah, but decent enough artwork. And the final card that she did was for Snow Hazard in April of 23, and we haven't seen anything since, which is a real shame, because I think she was doing amazingly good work for the TCG. I never know why artists drop out, whether it's the artist's choice or whether the commissioning editors have decided not to employ them anymore. Given how talented she is, it would be ridiculous if they chose not to continue working with her, because she adds something to the TCG. Great artist. So this is the Vespiquen from Snow Hazard, SV2P, and that is the final card that we were allowed to see of her work. Great pity. So there you go. Those are all the different artworks available. Let me just find my favorite ones. I mean, I think that's really good, even though I don't like the Pokemon at all. This is a favorite of mine. Love that one. Love that one. Love that one. I would say, yeah, I think these are probably my favorite of her work. And if I had to pick one that is my favorite, I think it would be I think it would be the Rapidash, actually. I think that's just really, really beautiful. Very clever, very well thought out. But yeah, there's nothing really I don't like particularly, except that the Lapras is a bit weak and the Obstagoon also is a little bit weak, perhaps. But everything else is really, really solid, consistently excellent, and has a real style to it. So there you go. That is my look at the work of Megumi Higuchi. Maybe we'll see her work again one day. But for now, that is all there is.